ஆர்ட் ஆஃப் டெசிஷன் மேக்கிங், முடிவு எடுக்கும் திறன். இது வந்து முக்கியமான விஷயம் நம்ம லைஃப்பில். when you look at your life, your happiness, success, growth, எல்லாமே it is the choices and the decisions we make. Sum total of the choices and decisions we make and which we continue to make. So art of decision making is there. How do you make decisions? Is it by a flip of a coin, or just how the way you think, or how you feel, or just randomly? All this is okay for small decisions. ஆனால் பெரிய டெசிஷன், முக்கியமான டெசிஷன் வரும்போது you need to become a very sound decision maker. Sound decision making happens by making more decisions with your experience and learning from mistakes. Also with effective tools. There in Stanford University, there is a professor who walked into his class which was doing entrepreneurship program, and he announced to all of them that he made them all into 5 teams, and he gave them $5 per team and said that they have 1 day's time, and next day same time each team comes and makes a presentation for 10 minutes each and tells the class how they have multiplied the money, the $5 in 1 day's time. That was the exercise he gave them. So 5 டீமும் போயிட்டாங்க. ஸோ நாளைக்கு அந்த 5 டீமும் ஒன்று சேரும்போது வின்னிங் டீம் என்ன பண்ணாங்க அப்படின்னா, அந்த 10 மினிட்ஸோட ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் ஸ்லாட்டை ஒரு ஸ்டார்ட் அப் கம்பெனிக்கு தே சோல்டு ஃபார் $1000. அந்த ஸ்டார்ட் அப் கம்பெனி அந்த ப்ரெசன்டேஷன் டைமில் வந்து தே பிச் டு த ஸ்டான்ஃபோர்ட் யூனிவர்சிட்டி ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் ஃபார் ரெக்ரூட்மெண்ட். So what did the others do? The others did, one did a lemonade stall, the other went for parking, valet parking in a busy restaurant. The other team did car washing. So they couldn't multiply as much as the $1000. So what happened to the other 3 teams? The other 3 teams, they saw the constraints. The constraints was either $5 or the 1 day period. Whereas the winning team, they never even looked at the constraints. They only ideated, and they ideated and effectively used the 10 minutes presentation time where they are going to say what they did, and they sold the presentation time. So that is brilliant. So we can make sound decisions like this. It is not that you have to go to Stanford to figure this out. We can still learn to make very sound decisions. There is a simple 3-tool approach for this. First is, don't look at the constraints. Constraints could either block your thinking skills or it could distract your thinking skills. So you need to think beyond, out of the box, and you need to be very innovative and look at alternate approaches all the time. Number 2 in decision making, very, very important, is do pre-mortem of any decision rather than post-mortem. ஒரு decision wrong ஆன உடனே the company calls for a meeting and then they do a complete post-mortem of what went wrong, why it went wrong, and they will do all of that, which has to be done nevertheless. But instead, if you spend the time and effort on pre-mortem of any decision you make before you start a project or a family decision or any new business or a new initiative or anything, when you sit with the whole team and do a complete pre-mortem covering all the blind spots, as well as understanding what is the worst case scenario which can happen, what is the middle ground situation which can happen, what is the best case scenario which can happen, and how to mitigate the risk and losses. And when you cover up all this, and when you are planned and prepared, and when you get in, and then it is a different book, and then it is a different game altogether. Third important point is, don't ignore the basics. Basics நம்ம brilliant-ஆ think பண்ணணும், out of the box-ஆ இருக்கணும்னு சொல்லிட்டு sometimes obvious-ஆ இருக்கிற விஷயங்களை basics-ஆ fundamentals-ஆ இருக்கிற விஷயத்தை வந்து கோட்டை விட்டுருவோம். ஸோ அந்த basics fundamentals-ல தான் வந்து there is so much which is lying. The results lie in finer details and minute details. So when you cover all these aspects, so naturally you will get into the habit of taking very sound decisions rather than erratic and hasty decisions just like that on the move. I'm sure this video was helpful for you and will help you to make good decisions in life.